things that you'd be looking to do? Because, you know, Gankstars, they came second last week, but Xenotech said himself, like, they don't want to come second. They want to come first. Like, surely in this matchup, when you're pretty significantly ahead on paper, you've got to be looking for exceptionally clean games.
Yeah, that's definitely what they're going to be looking for. And it's, again, that's why I say, like, Echo Fox, they're just going to have to really look to just have a good game. Not necessarily to be looking for the win this early in the season, but they just want to have a strong showing. But wow, very quick start to the draft and pretty much as predicted.
Yeah, there we go. They're banned the Grumpjaw, Baron's banned. Then it's pick up the Vox, which is a very good pick here from Echo Fox. Now we have Lyra and Grace open. Grace is not good into Vox, so I doubt Gankstars will pick that. So they'll probably pick up Lyra here. And they need to ban Grace because Grace is really strong with Vox. So they're going to go ahead and do that. And now Echo Fox can ban something that's good into Vox. For example, Koshka, if they don't want Gankstars on Koshka, for example. Or Batiste is a good ban as well. So let's see if they decide to do, or even Glaive actually. So because Weapon Glaive is really strong, or Kestrel, because Iraqi has shown himself that he is extremely proficient in Kestrel, especially paired with Lyra. Deadly combination for Gankstars.
We'll have to see whether they can get that combination in the go. Grace going to be banned away, obviously, and now Echo Fox biting into their bonus time with the second ban. Unsure where to go with this one and making sure that they have enough time to create that correct decision. Glaive going to be taken away.
I feel like that's the final ban of the draft is probably one of the most difficult picks to make in the entire draft process in Vainglory right now. So yeah, it's just a really tough spot to be in with how many strong hero picks there are. Taking Glaive off the board, never a bad idea though.
I think they're going to probably go with Kestrel here because Iraqi is super proficient on Kestrel and he can outplay a box on Kestrel here. That makes the most sense. Yep, they're going to go with the Kestrel here. Now Echo Fox can go with big counters such as Taka, but Taka into Lyra would be very interesting. They can also go with Samuel here too, because Xeno or Superstock can play as Samuel as well. So let's see what they pick here.
I actually really like the Kestrel pick as well because while it's a bit early to be talking about it, you know, teams are still going to want to be keeping some cards close to their chest when it comes to even in week to week. And Kestrel is something that we've already seen from Gankstars, so they're not showing us anything new with this pickup. It's one that they're very comfortable with, and it's something that's already been shown. So really smart pick there.
Yeah, like they also take Batiste here. Batiste would be good with, for example, Arden, very strong. But they're going to go with Adagio and potentially Koshka here, I see coming out, or Batiste, or Samuel. All those three junglers are all very strong. So I feel like they may go with Koshka or Batiste here. If they pick Koshka, Gankstars are going to respond with Batiste. And that means Gankstars are going to win the draft. So if I was Echo Fox, I would pick Batiste here because he makes the most sense given the composition they have.
Yeah, it doesn't just work with your composition, but it also denies it from your opponent's composition, which is a large part of the draft. Like, a lot of the complex draft strategy isn't about your own team, it's about your opponent, so the Batiste is going to be the ban.
Yep, and I think Xeno will take Samuel here. Samuel can outplay Batiste. If he keeps his distance and outpokes him and then uses Drifting Dark to then engage, Samuel would be a pretty good pick here because Adagio is not a good frontline against a Samuel, and he can get a lot of AoE damage coming out here. So let's see what they decide on Gangstar side here. Or CP Blackfeather could come on as well, because he's mobile and good against Batiste.
I was going to say, Blackfeather's another pick that Xenotech has played a lot. Alpha is another one that, if they really wanted to pull something out of the hat, but the fact that they went for the Kestrel makes me believe they don't want to be showing anything they haven't already shown. And so I would be very surprised to see Alpha just on that connotation, but I don't think it's a pick that Gankstars would shy away from if they felt they needed to.
We'll see what their options are going to be and what they settle on in 15 seconds as their bonus time is going to start counting on down now. Just deciding.
There we go, CP Blackfeather, yep.
Going to lock in. It is going to be the CP Blackfeather. You're absolutely correct there. Unless they send the Blackfeather to lane and Xenotech goes with the Kestrel. But definitely after last week, it feels like the Kestrel will be going weapon power in that lane. So how are we feeling about the compositions, gentlemen?
I really like the draft that Gankstars have put together. Yes, the Batiste Adagio is strong, but having that Kestrel, the way that Iraqi Zoro played that Kestrel specifically last week, makes me believe that they have the tools to set up team fights the way that they want them to, and can try and pull the members of Echo Fox into them and blow up that Batiste very quickly.
Yeah, they need to hard engage and get rid of Iraqi because Iraqi can't escape an Ordained. He'll need to use a reflex block. Blackfeather can just out. If they don't kill somebody immediately, they're going to lose. So I think Gankstars want to draft here because Blackfeather and Kestrel can outpoke the other composition. So it's going to be really hard for Echo Fox to win here.
Yeah, you mentioned the Ordained, but the Ordained has such a short range that with the poke that Gankstars have, it's going to be tough for the Batiste to get into that range to use the Ordained without getting blown up himself.
I mean, range 6 is not too bad, though. That's about Kestrel's auto attack range.
I'm going to have to cut you guys off because the game's about to start. Definitely a skill matchup, then we'll have to wait and see. Don't forget to get involved on social media using that hashtag Vainglory8. Let us know who you are supporting. But it's time to head on to the Halcyon Fold as we head into Echo Fox up against Gankstars.
That is right, friends. We are loading into Game 1 in this best of 3 between Echo Fox and Gankstars. I'm Humanist, joined by Excoundrel. And a pretty fun drafts to start things off here. Excoundrel, you were saying you think it's going to be kind of tough for Echo Fox to get in there.
I think it's going to be really tough for Echo Fox to get in here. This is one of those situations where your War Treads is going to be a priority item for Super Shot if they want to win engage. Because remember, you said to me, they could poke with Batiste, but I think they just lose that poke war. You're going up against the CP Blackfeather or Weapon Power Kestrel, which Iraqi is so gifted with. You've got two sources outputting high damage from at range, and Vox is always going to be outranged in that situation, and you're relying on a fairly decent cooldown on Slidia on that bad mojo to win you that poke war. Again, it's going to be tough. I think Echo Fox might find it difficult. Again, if Gankstars are the ones to engage, Echo Fox will relish that. They have great counter-engage and great disengage. But in a straight-up poke war, I think they lose, and they don't really have anything that can force fights either.
Well, currently, Vane's kind of poking on the mid down here. I was curious what he was doing as he aggroed the back. He'll make his way up into the lane where he puts some nice harass out on Irwin, actually misses the activation there. But he's going to help out Iraqi Zoro. Now, Iraqi's been playing this weapon Kestrel, I think, almost more than anybody. We've seen it paired up with the Lyra a lot. For me, that feels like the vulnerable point of this composition.
The Kestrel, if the Kestrel gets caught out here, or... Yeah, I think you're onto something in that sense. I think definitely Kestrel is the crucial Achilles heel, because if Kestrel goes down, it'll be very easy then to lock down Xenotech. It'll be very easy to burst him through. And remember, CP Blackfeather is not a duelist. CP Blackfeather classically does terrible in dueling situations. So if he gets locked in to a duel against an Adagio Vox combo or that kind of thing, he will really struggle. So if they can get onto Iraqi Zoro, that is potentially an area where Echo Fox can look to exploit and win. But again, this comes back to that issue of how do you get onto Iraqi Zoro as the Echo Fox composition?
It's pretty simple, honestly. The on points are going to be a little predictable. Some are going to hit, some are going to miss, but you got to just spam those bad mojos. Once they start to connect, you just move forward. They just have to pull the trigger and go. But I think it's going to be synergy, right? Like, they have to say go at the same time and actually make it happen. If any of them hesitate, I think it'll fall apart.
I just think that it's not as sure-footed as something like sort of a harder engage that they could have brought to the table. Finn, they could have brought multiple other potential hard engage heroes. In this way, you are relying on landing skill shots. You're relying on potentially getting War Treads as an item that you would focus down for Super Shot. And again, if Vanes does his job properly, because remember, you said that about landing bad mojos and such. I mean, you still have to get through Bright Bulwark from Lyra. So
well, just move forward. I mean, that's a huge cooldown. Like, just move in, just throw out your bat. Okay, I'm just trying to be devil's advocate on this.
Absolutely, I understand where you're coming from. The problem for Echo Fox would be is if they move forward, suddenly they're walking into Glimmer Shots. They're walking into, sort of level 8 on points from Xenotech. It's not something that you can consistently avoid all the time. So, I think there is chance. You've got a very fast and mobile team here, apart from maybe the Batiste, but, very mobile team once you've got that movement speed built up here. Irwin can very easily run away with teamfights if you get locked into a teamfight situation. But again, I just think Echo Fox are going to struggle, especially when we get to post-level 8, to actually find opportunities.
Based off what you're saying, I think the boot actives is going to be a really big deal for this team. If,
totally.
Having boots on cooldown could really be disastrous. Now, Gankstars, look at this rotation. They take this Elder Treant at perfect timing. They're going to go ahead and make sure they secure that before the shop spawns and they get the max efficiency out of the map. I think this is one of the things that Gankstars has been doing better than almost any other team.
Gankstars has been the team that has impressed me most in terms of their ability to control map level play. Again, when they had Wrecked last season, they were a team that would be able to starve the enemy of all farm by freezing the lane and getting complete control of the choke point area of the enemy base, and it just kind of gave the enemy no hope from coming back. It's something that I've always been impressed with. Gankstars macro play has been very clean for the most part. And again, you're right, rotations has been fantastic so far for Gankstars. Getting the Elder Tree on timing, had the advantage in the early game as it stands, and now Xenotech and Veins also continuing to take little wins from the enemy by, taking away these forward camps and so on.
Bad Mojo's going to connect here. Slated just goes ahead and zones out Veins, and Xenotech forces them back onto their side of the map, and they're very happy to go ahead and do so.
And Xenotech uses that Rose offensive to get straight out of the Ordained, blocks the stun there as well. Again, that is another issue that we haven't talked about. You have to be so selective about where you're going to use your Ordained. You can't really use it effectively on Xenotech unless he's already used his Rose offensive. So, it's this is just a tough situation. Again, let's try and look at the positive sides for Echo Fox. If you do get locked into a straight-up brawl, if you can find that engage, Vox will excel in that situation. The mobility of a Vox, hard for the Kestrel to get consistent damage down if you're going a Glimmer Shot base build, can dodge out the poke from Xenotech, and we know how good of a duelist Vox is in teamfight situations. Compare that with the lockdown of Slayer and sort of disengage onto the Black Feather and the sustain from Super Shot. If they do get that team fight that they are desperately going to search for, you have a better dueling, consistent damage output coming out from Vox than you do from most of the heroes on Gankstars.
Absolutely. I mean, even it's weird to try and just go, we'll hold that thought right here. As Bad Mojo is going to connect. Super Shot, got to be careful on the front side, taking a lot of damage. Has to go ahead and heal. Holding the fountain, though. Super Shot, get out of here, bud. It's just going to be some shade thrown out. And just because Slater likes to throw the shade, I don't know if that was necessary. Iraqi Zoro, Veins, and Xenotech starting to circle up here onto Echo Fox as Slater and Irwin pinned under their tier 1 turret here. Xenotech continues to throw out the on-point off of cooldown about every 4 seconds now. I mean, and this ability is just free of charge for him, right? Like, you just throw this out over and over. Slater taking a lot of damage. Look at the Ordained on Iraqi Zoro, but it doesn't matter. That's exactly what you were talking about. Like, you land the Ordained onto the Kestrel. That's the vulnerable target. Defensive backwards. Iraqi taking some damage. Irwin moving forward. Fountains blown for both of these teams. Bad Mojos continue to come out of Slater, so it looks like the teams have disengaged.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Gankstars take a few less risks in that situation and consolidate by getting the siege onto the tier 1 turret. They've got great siege in this composition. The range of Glimmer Shot on point, especially post level 8 for Xenotech, so once he actually gets to that point, is going to be very, very good for them because they can almost get free damage onto that turret unanswered and can just slowly chip away at the defensive maneuvers from Fox. They got locked in there, and again, they got the engage onto Iraqi Zoro, but the healing from Veins, the fact that Xenotech comes in and provides that front line a little bit as well, they weren't able to capitalize on it. But you saw Irwin did start to make that move forward, did start to do what Vox can do best and chase down those key targets and dive onto them with the Sonic Zoom. And you were chatting to me before the game, he said, Irwin is our guy to watch here. If you want to watch a player through this series, check out Irwin. He could be the carry here for Fox.
I mean, I didn't say that, did I? No, Slater and Super Shot, those are definitely guys to watch. Obviously, yeah, Irwin is the player, right? So it's going to come down to Slater setting this up for him, though. Irwin's going to have to be the one that pulls the trigger and goes. Like, once he sees the Ordained land onto the key target, and I think once he jumps in there, he can blow up the Kestrel because she's so squishy. Like, compared to all heroes on the map. And as I say this, though, they're out of position. This tier 1 turret's taking a whole bunch of damage here. The rotations out of Echo Fox are a little crazy.
I like the way that Xenotech kept hold of his Rose offensive in that situation, even though he was Ordained, because he knew that Fox were in split minds about whether they wanted to engage onto Xenotech, knowing that he had Rose offensive up to just get out of there, and going to defend the turret. So they hesitated with their decision-making process, which allowed Iraqi Zoro and Veins to get that siege down. Onto the oh, the snipe from downtown, Humanist! Whoa.
Iraqi Zoro making it happen. Unbelievable plays right there. They're going to take the turret as well because these guys are max efficiency, and once again Slater just throws out the ultimate because why not?
They're going to go for the gold mine. Again, like you said, efficiently taking everything that they can from the map here. Again, rotations and macro level rotations so good from Gankstars. It was a pretty easy gold mine to take. I mean, your classic solo queue player probably could have made that play. But again, to do it in this kind of situation, really, really good to them just to make sure they're maximizing their gold efficiency on the map and also limiting any potential comeback sources for Echo Fox after losing that tier 1 turret.
Yeah, really clean plays. I mean, Gankstars, I think week 1, I was surprised at how well they were already kind of like gelling with Veins now in this roster. And I think Veins adds a lot to like any team he's going to join. Now, I wouldn't be the one to say like, oh, I think Rekt is better fit than Veins, Veins over Rekt or anything, but I think definitely sometimes just like shaking things up on a team, you bring in someone that has different capabilities, it can really make for like interesting gameplay.
And Rekt was one of the guys that innovated so well and always brought new things to the table. If you want a dependable, very meta-focused, captain player, I think that Veins is your guy. He's not going to pull out any quirky builds like Rekt would in certain situations, but what he is going to do is provide excellent map control, great vision control, and sort of be that guy. And this is something that you just said, I do want to touch on Iraqi Zoro's build, because this is a build that some people might not have seen on Kestrel before. Tension Bow, Sorrow Blade, Double Tyrant's Monocle. It is a glimmer shot focused build that just hits like an absolute truck. You can combine that with Xenotech's on point hitting like a truck also. This is a very scary poke team.
Xenotech over the wall, trying to find Slata. Slata throws out that ult. Nice stun onto Xenotech. He gets back. Whoa! Find the kill. Blackfeather's down, actually. They trade. Slata will go down. Iraqi putting out pretty good damage. Irwin, super shot, trying to find that positioning that they need. Iraqi sitting on top of that active camo, but the flare's out. They know what's going on. And it looks like at the end of it, it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
I got a little bit overhyped there. I thought suddenly there was a turnaround potential for Echo Fox. Super shot with the massive Verse of Judgment. And again, that's something that you do have to respect from Echo Fox. Gankstars able to come through it just because they have that sheer damage output coming from Iraqi Zoro right now. They did manage to burst out Batista, who is a pretty solid target. And again, Slater walked straight into the fire. But they do have to respect the disengage and counter-engage potential of Echo Fox.
Dude, go kill them! Go kill them! Oh, Iraqi, he's just a little too far away. I mean, ultimately, Iraqi was low on energy there. He had his boots up, so he's alive. Echo Fox, the opportunities are slim. There are not many out there. Gankstars are going to move in as a unit here. Super shot on the front side takes huge damage. Look at the crits coming out. Iraqi just melted right through super shot. That's insane.
Again, they can't do anything about it because now Gankstars have got that advantage. Every skill shot hit is another step towards winning a fight before a fight even takes place here. And this is, again, you're going to see a double Tyrant's Monocle coming up for Iraqi Zoro. These glimmer shots are going to hit hard. These on points are going to hit hard. You have to be literally Michael Jackson to dodge every single shot that the Gankstars are going to be throwing your way. And I think that, I definitely think that Echo Fox are in a tough position here.
Wow. They got to pull a Michael Jackson, yeah. I guess they could be in a tough place right now. Gangstar's gonna move in and basically two-shot the Crystal Sentry. A little more attacks than that, but you see just massive damage coming out. Slata hit with the on-point. Who attacked out of Iraqi? And Slata, well, rest in peace. I tried to be, the one to say that Echo Fox was gonna have a chance on this one, but you're really harping on, and for good reason, like all of the tools that Gankstars have at their disposal. It's all coming together right now.
Yeah, it's very difficult to say that teams lose in draft because a lot of Vainglory does come down to the way you execute, but we know Gankstars can execute. We know they are a top-tier team. I just didn't see any way for Fox to feasibly force fights and put Gankstars under pressure, especially in these late-game scenarios. You see the bad mojo coming out, it's just not doing the same level of damage.
Oh my goodness. Iraqi. He's like 2-3 shots, he's through Slata's health bar. There's just devastating amounts of damage coming out here. He's building into the second Tyrants right now. It's just going to get stronger and stronger. Echo Fox, they're going to have to just take advantage of a perfect opportunity, and if they hesitate at all, it could be over. Super Shot's going to move in. They're going on the aggressive here. Can they make the play? There's a lot of damage being traded out here. Irwin's going to drop. Iraqi gets out to the south side of that fight, throws the one shot, comes through. It's not going to be connecting, but it does not matter because Slata's in there. Slata, massive damage output, but will go down as an ace comes through for Gankstars. Just a devastating play. I think from draft to gameplay all around, meta, macro, micro, they're just tearing them apart.
That was the play that you should have made if you were even. Look at the prioritization of items for Super Shot, exactly as he talked about. Second item, War Treads, because the engage of War Treads was so vital to Fox actually finding fights. The best way you deal with a poke composition is by having some form of hard engage so that they can't poke. If you drag a poke composition into a fight, usually they are a lot worse because they don't have the range and space to land skill shots over and over again. When you don't have that particular engage, it's just not the same. Metal Jacket coming out for Super Shot, you might be wondering why he's not thought about an Atlas Pauldrons. Iraqi Zorro actually went for a Tornado Trigger, so maybe Atlas Pauldrons would have been better, but again, that's all hindsight at this point in time. He's gone for the extra the critical strike chance coming out from Tornado Trigger there, but does sacrifice a bit of flat damage on his Glimmer Shots.
Okay, so Echo Fox. They are prepared to make one of the biggest comebacks in Vainglory I've ever seen. Not everybody gets this opportunity, Scoundrel.
I mean, are they going to take that shot now that they've given it?
You only get one shot, one opportunity. Oh, you get destroyed, Erwin. Melted. Xenotech. Ooh, Xenotech will go down. Batiste OP. Slater hitting him with that bad mojo. Waiting, he's just waiting for that ordained. He wants to hit that target. His bad mojo comes out. Super shot. He self-heals, keeping him alive. There's found buying enough time. He will go down. Slater's on the north side of this fight, trying to get himself out of here. He can't get caught. Throws that bad mojo, trying to claim his own back. So Rakizora will take his jungle away, but signs of life.
Yeah, again, you've got to look at Xenotech. That is the problem with CP Blackfeather. Suijay highlighted it previously. You can blow CP Blackfeather up pretty quickly. He's not a tanky guy, especially with the way that he builds. Look at Xenotech picked up a Crucible as well, just to make absolutely certain that there is no way they either A, get locked down by an Ordained, or B, somehow miss a Verse of Judgment. Double Crucible coming out, just to prevent that engage. Just to absolutely prevent that engage from Echo Fox.
What a selfless player. Selfless plays, selfless purchases. Iraqi and Veins move in. They're on the super shot. Irwin comes in. Irwin? Irwin, you don't want to be there, dude. Get out of here. Uses his boots. The Fearsome Shades will be coming out, but Irwin is going to drop Veins with the Arcane Passage. Doesn't matter. Iraqi finds super shot, and Slata should be out of here. Ordain's on to Xenotech. He's holding his ground. Slata's there. Ace. And we'll be able to find the kill, though. Ace over to Gankstars. Another one. Mark it in the books. 12-2, 16.5 minutes in. Gankstars just in complete control.
Erwin taking lessons from our boy Polly right there. He super hopeful about his chances walking into the middle of the Gankstars team. But I mean, look, Humanist, we talked about it throughout this game. There is very little extra you can say, rather than the draft-wise. Gankstars were just they had this sewn up. All they need to do was execute, and like we said, we know Gankstars can execute. I liked the thought for Super Shot. You know, if they'd been on level pegging, there was the opportunity for them to literally run in, gift a fire, get big Verse of Judgments, and potentially find fights that way. But this was a disengage focused team with the Batiste coming out, you know, from Echo Fox. You know, this was them preventing engages and turning things around when it got too hot. Against Poke, you just don't win.
Ooh. No, you don't. And right now, I'm not feeling like a winner, as we are currently paused up. I think Irwin wasn't moving. He was back behind his Vein Crystal turret there. So we take a moment, recollect ourselves, and I think the Kraken will be taken out pretty shortly here. Gankstars will look to march down, finish this. These matches have been a little one-sided today, Scoundrel.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Humanist. And there was the potential, but again, you are looking at two very strong teams in the form of Gankstars and C9, and they're going up against teams that have got a lot of room to grow at this point. You've got Echo Fox, a new roster. They need some time to gel. They need some time to adjust to the level of competition in the VG8. And Hammers, who again, they've had to revamp things, Humanist. They've had to restart.
Well, they're starting all over without starting all over. Seems pretty rough. Rough and tumble. All right, we are back into the game. Gankstars, how you guys gonna close this one out? Echo Fox, show us something. Don't go down quietly into this night. Gankstars move forward. Xenotech lands the on point. It's pretty much all he has to do. He just lands this on point since glimmers come through from Iraqi, and Veins controls that area of effect. Kraken marches down. She's getting closer and closer into the base here. You're gonna have to pull the trigger like now. Yeah, these guys can't wait forever here.
Fox just difficult. They're going in here.
Yeah, he's gonna be actually finding the stun as he runs right. Active camo, Xenotech. Xenotech misplaying a little bit as he just gets deleted, not quite realizing how much damage output was coming out of Echo Fox. Now, Echo Fox hold their ground. They do have the numerical advantage, but Iraqi is on the backside, has the damage output, finds the kill. Iraqi Zora should be finding another one here shortly. Double kill, putting that attack speed to work, and we'll be taking this Vein Crystal down. So a dominating performance here from Gankstars against Echo Fox. Echo Fox, they were in a tough situation from the beginning. I think, you know, they had moments where they showed us that they can start to execute, but really compositionally, they just put themselves on the back foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Compositionally, we talked about it. I don't think we need to sort of harp on about it anymore. I feel like I've run that one to the ground here, Humanist.
Yeah, you did. You did. It's okay. I just wanted to touch on a little bit more. Let's see if our analysts want to run it into the ground a little bit further, or if there was something else that they saw. Munch, Sweet J, Tasty Bacon, break it down for us.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll try not to run it into the ground too much, but I tell you what was run into the ground, Echo Fox in that game, because Gankstars are on an absolute roll. That was very one-sided. We've seen quite a few one-sided games so far today here in America.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what we alluded to at the start of the broadcast. It was going to either be showing that there's some murkiness in the middle of the North American waters, or that there is 4 teams at the top and some teams at the bottom. And right now it's looking like it is the latter.
Yeah, right now it definitely feels like there's a bit of a divide in the middle of the table. I mean, looking at that game, Suijay, was it down to the draft, do you think? Or once again, is this a matter of execution as opposed to the compositions coming into it?
It's a little bit of both, but I think heavily on a draft. Adagio was just not a good pick into Kestrel. There's no front line. Kath would have been way better. Kath and Baptiste are actually extremely strong. She can tank the arrows. They can get a fear. They can get a silence combo onto the enemy team. And they could have won some fights. And in terms of engagement, every time Adagio tried to go in, he just was too squishy. I mean, Kestrel would just melt him even with the metal jacket on. And I felt like they didn't combo and use the early game advantage. When Echo Fox got level 6, Adagio level 6 Baptiste, they did nothing with it. So, and that's when they power spike. The biggest is mid game, and they let it get to late game, and Blackfeather and Kestrel completely outscale the composition that Echo Fox had.
Yeah, the damage coming out from Iraqi was just ridiculous. And when we got to the very end of the game as well, even though Iraqi Zoro got caught out on his own, he went a little bit too far forward with the Kraken pushing in. They didn't even need the third player. They were just that far ahead that they could finish things off anyway.
Well, I mean, even a lot of those team fights we just saw, like a lot of times Iraqi Zoro ended up nowhere close to the actual team because he was just like 1v1ing someone on the side, and then the other two were able to handle the 2-on-2 fight as well. So it just kind of go back to the similar to what we saw with Cloud9, where just each individual role is outperforming their counterpart on the opposing side of the fold.
Yeah, it certainly feels fairly one-sided so far in this series. We'll see if Echo Fox have any tricks up their sleeves coming on through into the second game of this series. Is there anything we expect Echo Fox to be changing up going in here? Aside from just the draft specifically, is there like specific mistakes you guys saw during the game that need to be changed immediately so that Echo Fox can have a more successful match?
Yeah, when they had Adagio in lane, Lyra is definitely hard to push, but Adagio does beat Lyra in the early phase of the game because of his range and his ability to outpoke. And they should have bullied the lane a little harder and then let Baptiste rotate and shut down Blackfeather before Blackfeather could scale, because Baptiste, Adagio does beat Blackfeather, Lyra in the early game of the phase. And when they got the level 6 power spike, they need to win and get a turret. But instead, Erwin gets one-shotted gets ulted underneath turret, and they lose the turret. And from there, that mid-game power spike was gone, completely eliminated.
So a lot of it is about like looking at their composition and figuring out not just what it's good at, but when they actually need to really push the objective and when they need to abuse the power spikes that their composition offers.
And I feel like this is something that even over the past season and a half or so, we've been saying a lot about the teams that seem to be just a little bit below we expect from teams in the Vainglory8, is that a lot of times we talk about, they're like, oh, they got this really good draft, but they just didn't execute what this draft is supposed to do. And it's a problem that's becoming less and less prevalent for the most part, but when it does come up, when a team does get a draft that they just then don't really execute on, don't really take advantage of the power spikes that they drafted themselves into, it almost always ends up falling very flat and looking like a one-sided affair.
And this is something you guys at home can take away with you as well. When you're playing with your friends, when you're playing in a 3, look at your composition. Figure out when you're actually strongest in the game. Do you have a Baron and you want to look to the late game? Or do you have like Grumpjaw and things and really want to push in the early game? And make sure that when you guys recall and go to the shop and you've just got a huge item, let everyone know that. Use that to your advantage, and you can take massive advantages. And that's the biggest difference between some of the very best teams in the world and some of the teams that are still trying to achieve that, is making sure that they are abusing those power spikes and making every little advantage you get go the extra mile.
Yeah, and with draft too, like play Kath into Kestrel. Kath is really good into Kestrel because her bubble can take the trap damage, take the arrow damage, and reflect it back, and it can stun Kestrel. So Lyra will be banned here, then Baron is going to be picked up because it is open. So good draft by Gankstars, and I feel like Echo Fox may go with the Vox here potentially. So let's see what they decide.
They should go for the Vox. And, you know, I actually feel like Catherine is a little bit of an underrated hero in general right now. There's quite a few heroes that are currently meta that Catherine does really well into just because of being able to reflect damage that opponents can't avoid but have hit Catherine. So, like, you know, she's just really good into Baron, really good into Kestrel, really good into Batiste. Like, all these heroes that have big AoE burst damage, Catherine is amazing into all of them.
Okay, this is interesting draft. Adagio again, are they going to go with Caridot? I hope they are. They need to. For here, they should definitely take Grace as well. I think Grace, if not banned here, will be taken by Echo Fox. So I think Gankstars will ban Grace if Echo Fox does not. So I think a Grace ban is going to come out here from Gankstars because Grace and Adagio is a very strong combination.
What is it about that combo that makes them so strong?
Because Grace has her her Benediction, can get onto an enemy and slow them, and then Adagio can heal her, just burn the enemy, buff himself, and do a lot of damage if she's able to CC them.
Not only that, but it's another variant of the double heal composition that we used to see with Adagio Lyra. I'm actually going to be waiting for a team to run the triple heal. I think that would be a pretty fun one to see in general, but it's not very likely.
Yeah, the issue is you're replacing your actual damage threat with a Grace, which is not the greatest.
Weapon Adagio, Weapon Lyra, seeing as AJ's around somewhere, but
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Anyway, going back to the bans, Batiste and Vox are going to be taken away here, and now Echo Fox looking towards their first pick. Grace still very much on the table, but they go with a Jewel here.
That's very interesting draft. I don't agree with it. Jewel can't really stun Baron. Once he's level 8, he can just jump out and just kite her. So this is a very interesting draft to see how it's going to play out here. And Adagio and Jewel don't have the best synergy too, so that's a very interesting draft by Echo Fox.
I'm also just already seeing visions of Baron jumping, landing behind Jewel where she doesn't have any armor, and just one-shotting her.
What do we... I mean, this is the first time we've seen her in the Vainglory8 this season. Like, what does Jewel bring to the table that other heroes won't?
I think this is a comfort pick because Super Shot's really proficient on Jewel, so I think this is more of a comfort pick for him. But again, Grace is open, and Jewel will be countered hard by Grace because she's a melee. She has to come up close. So this is an inference, and I think Gankstars here can take Koshka, honestly, and just snowball the game completely with Grace Koshka in the early game. That's going to really shut down Echo Fox here. So let's see what they decide, because Grumpjaw and Batiste is banned, and Koshka is the next juiciest jungler here in the fold.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see how this one is going to play out. I'm curious about the choices here. Koshka is going to be the lock-in, and now final pick for Echo Fox. How do you round out a composition like this?
I think the only way you can is by taking something like... It depends on if the Adagio is going to go into the lane or not. I would expect that it would be the Adagio as a captain, just because that is the most common trend that we see. So maybe a Gwen for the side of Echo Fox, but I would almost prefer to see them put the Adagio into the lane and then grab themselves like something like a Catherine or an Arden as their final pick.
Yeah, I think Arden makes sense here. Finn is also pretty good against this composition because Koshka and Grace need to jump in, and Finn counters melee as well. So I think Finn would be a good pick here. So let's see what Echo Fox is going to decide on. But their draft looks very shaky. They're going to go with Glaive, so it's going to be a support Adagio, potentially as Crystal, Jewel, and a Weapon Glaive.
This is an extremely risky composition.
Yeah,
to
it's
say the
really,
least.
really bad into Grace and Koshka for sure. And also, Glaive and Jewel need to bunch up. So Baron is going to get so much value out of, launching rockets on top of both of them.
So this is definitely an unorthodox composition coming out from Echo Fox. Do we think that this is just a matter of Echo Fox kind of stepping back after that last game saying like, okay, look, this is going to be a difficult game no matter what. Let's just sit on comfort picks, play things that we know how to play exceptionally well, and see if we can just win by those means.
It feels like that's what they did here, but the unfortunate thing is that they're completely countered. Like, almost hero for hero, they are countered by the draft that Gankstars have. So comfort picks are great, but not if you're picking just off meta and it's not necessarily getting hard countered, that's one thing. But getting comfort picks when having them be hard countered, I just don't see it working.
Okay, thoughts, 3J?
Yeah, if you want to pick your comfort picks, ban the stuff that hard counters it. Like, it's very simple. And I think that Echo Fox definitely didn't prepare well enough here because, again, they screwed up their draft.
Okay, well, we'll see if that is going to be the case as we head towards the game. Don't forget, for the final time in this series, potentially, unless Echo Fox can come back on into it, let us know who you think is going to take this one and how you're feeling about the rest of the day as well. Hashtag Vainglory8 is how you can get in touch with us on social media, but it's time to head back on into the game.
It is time, that is correct, to load back into the Halcyon Vault. We'll be doing so very shortly, but in the meantime, Scoundrel and I were sitting here talking about this matchup between Echo Fox and Gankstars. Interesting drafts coming out, and I'm excited to see how this Jewel's going to fare in this composition.
I mean, we were talking about Jewel being pretty solid to a Baron because the one thing that counters Baron quite effectively is the ability to burst very, very quickly, and Jewel, as weapon power, does that. Our issue is that the Grace got locked in. And then suddenly it made that a lot harder to achieve with the shields, the Holy Shield giving a 40% damage reduction. You can get both directional from Benediction and also full from Divine Intervention. Oh, I like this. I love this start from Slader though, Humanist. He's gone for the double weapon blade because of how awful. If you went towards CP Glaive in the jungle, you get crushed by Koshka early game.
How bad?
Real bad.
No, I just want to hear you say awful again, dude. With that accent, it's just so
awful,
clean, so crisp. Awful. It's like a waffle. Right now, it's going to be Veins in deep. Slada already was taking damage, so he's tanking up these backs here. Dude, if Veins gets this and gets I'm done. Slade, no, Veins got it. Veins popped the potion. He's gonna get himself out of here. Uses his boots. What a god.
Oh, that is the cheese Grace start, by the way. You pick the boots, you do that, and with your high movement speed, you just get out of any situation. That is the massive cheese Glaive pick. Super shot now, target. Here comes Xenotech.
Rest in peace. You're dead, dude. Just rest in peace. Just start planning next week's Vainglory8. He's down. First blood over to Xenotech. They're going to get the Elder Treant as well, and nowhere to go for Slada, so he's pretty much just going to rotate up into the lane like he's a captain.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the only thing you can do at this point. Iraqi Zoro, though.
Iraqi Zoro. Oh, the jump jets is on cooldown. Rocket leap in there. Irwin, how about that?
Well, if you're looking to consolidate on a very poor jungle start, how about getting a great lane start as Xenotech comes in, slams down?
Yeah, trying to get that damage out. Slada standing his ground. Holy Nova. Slada, you got to get out of here, bud. Xenotech chasing, using the moves and speed. It gets the attack, jumps forward. He's out of there. He's surrounded by the foxes, and they can't hunt this cat down. Rocket leap forward. Irwin, he'll connect on that Thunder Strike, but doesn't have the damage to really threaten this Koshka just yet. This guy's going to have to back or pick up some items.
Yeah, no, he's going to have to take advantage of that kill that he got in lane. Again, we're going to have to start to see this duel really ramp up if Echo Fox have a chance in this draft. But again, Gankstars off to a flying start. Xenotech, one of the proprietors of their early jungle pressure as well on this Koshka. We've seen him dominate so many enemies on this pick. It is a comfort pick for him. Iraqi Zoro's got the comfort pick of the Baron. And obviously, Veins picking up something that Grace new to the fold, but so easily slotting into so many compositions here. And again, like we said, does so well into the double melee threat of Slader and Irwin being a sort of an anti-melee hero in the form of that knock-up and also the ability to prevent directional damage.
Who's going to get the Elder Tree? And Slader doesn't get it, Slader. Oh, no. Has to use that defensive afterburn to get out of there. And Xenotech says, oh, I just run 100 miles an hour, plus I have damage. You're dead. Another kill going the way of Xenotech. 3-0. About 3 minutes into this one here, and we have Echo Fox on the back foot. Tough situation, indeed. Question I want to ask you, Scoundrel, are we going to just see like burst build come out of Slater, like tension bow, aftershock, because he's not going for like our storm?
Oh, he's not going for CP at all. He's going. This is a double weapon power build. This is.
But I mean, he could pick up like tension bow.
Okay, yeah, he could go. He could go aftershock, couldn't he? Yeah. I mean, I think that makes more sense, right? You're going for straight up burst. The tension bow aftershock build is something that we've seen more and more over the last few months. This is the only way that makes sense, in my opinion, Humanist. You don't win this if you aren't bursting someone, right?
No, you're not. Xenotech, he's been bursting them down. Nice little jump in there by Vanes, and Holy Nova lands onto 2. They're going to go ahead and knock Vanes back. Vanes taking a lot of damage. It's going to be Rocket Leap forward. Irwin, give him that Thunder Strike. Get that kill right there. 2 kills for Echo Fox. Doing a little bit better than they did in Game 1. They're going to get the Elder Treant. They're going to get the front camps as well. Echo Fox, actually pretty nice little rotation there.
Yeah, and they've shored up that gold. They have allowed Iraqi Zoro some time to farm in lane, although he isn't that much further ahead than Irwin, who's sitting at a similar CS level at this point in time. Xenotech is the one that's taking the small advantage over Slader here, sort of nearly at 10 in the jungle. And that's quite a decent lead in the jungle early on, by the way. It is difficult to get leads of CS in the jungle, and this is a good, decent early lead here for Xenotech. But again, Gankstars do need to be careful about overextending.
I am really excited for the moment when we see Irwin decide to actually like jump onto this Baron and look to take him out of the game. I'm actually a big fan of the Jewel into Baron. I think it's one of the few heroes that can counter him out. And if you trade decently, like there is a huge window in the game where you have way more damage than him.
Absolutely. You know, Baron takes 4 items to get the sort of the late game prowess that we know that Baron has got. Again, you know, with Tension Bow, Aftershock build, or Tension Bow, wherever Slader is going with this build, this is a build that you know that they have to take advantage of in the early game. If this gets to the late game, it's going to require some insane positioning or an insane catch onto Iraqi Zoro to make it work. This is something that they can do though, and they can exploit in the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes, and that could be where Echo Fox potentially come away with a win here.
Yeah, definitely. I think like in that next 10 minutes, well, hopefully we'll see them hit that window, come alive strong, and then at that point, it's all about, like you said, can Iraqi survive for a couple minutes, you know, continue his item progression, continuously accumulate net worth off the map. Right now, Slade is level 5, and we'll see him continuing, all these guys continuing to get levels across the map, but it's Xenotech who's sitting at level 7. Just a massive advantage for this guy.
And also you've got to look at Iraqi Zoro, who's realized that in this early game threat, having a bit of armor is only going to benefit him. You know, he needs to have tier 1 armor there to prevent that kind of burst damage coming out from the Jewel and Slader with the Tension Bow suffer, because there is no CP threat at this point in time. We don't know whether it will stay like that. We don't know whether Slader will go towards Aftershock. But right now, it's so beneficial to have just a little bit of armor to reduce the damage where you can. Go look at the double reflex block picked up early up here. They are so key on trying to prevent Grace from knocking them up with that stun. It's very important for them to get out of that to continue to pressure Iraqi Zoro. So they both pick up very early reflex blocks here, which I think is really important.
So smart, Scoundrel. It's actually just so smart. Not going to allow themselves to be caught out multiple different ways. Obviously the Grace or just the Koshka rotating up. You're going to go ahead and block off that yummy catnip frenzy and keep yourself alive. As long as you're in fighting shape, there's a lot of damage output you have to respect right now. Just the Sorrow Blade, the Jewel's dishing out significant damage like when she gets onto one of these targets.
Yeah, but the thing about is getting into that position, and again, it's up to Vanes to be able to prevent that, and that's why you've seen those reflex blocks come out, because they know they want to try and nullify any chance that Vanes has of disengaging. That is something that Grace is very good at doing against melee focused compositions, because that disengage is so important against sort of what Echo Fox are bringing to the table here. It looks like it is going to be Aftershock for Slader, so it is that big on-hit burst damage build coming out from the Glaive as well. They're going to look to Afterburn, they're going to look to jump and just slam the damage down onto Iraqi. It's a really good tactic against the Baron. You do have to try and capitalize on it early on though, and I do like the fact that Echo Fox are forcing now neutral objectives that require an answer from Gankstars. If not, you're going to get global gold advantages going over to Fox for free. And again, they can do this because they are stronger right now.
Yeah, really nice job. I mean, they pretty much tie up the net worth right there. A smart play, very nice pickup for them. Slater's going to make his way up into the lane, go ahead and farm that up, as Irwin wasn't able to quite make it, so Irwin will rotate through the jungle. And we haven't seen for a minute or so Xenotech really make any aggressive plays. He's farming up. Looks like he's building into the Broken Myth. Is this just because of Echo Fox like positioning and plays across the map, or do you think Xenotech was just kind of waiting?
This is difficult because Xenotech, I think, would have ideally loved to have been a bit more aggressive in the early game. Gankstars now, I think, unfortunately, are put into a position because of the builds that Fox have gone and because of the advantages that Fox got sort of earlier on in the jungle, where they are now forced to wait for Iraqi to get to a later game stage because they can't fight at this point in time because they don't have the potential, although they do catch out Super Shot here.
Super Shot stunned up the Holy Nova. Iraqi Zoro's got to try and get out of this one. He gets the jump jets away and Irwin gets hit in the back. That's not what you want. That's actually the reverse of what you want. Ion Can connects onto Super Shot. Xenotech over the wall. You're dead, Adagio. Oh no. Yummy Cat and Frenzy blocked off. Irwin trying to trade with him. Oh, it's actually Baron that dies up in the lane. Slater finds the kill, but Xenotech in the jungle finds the kill, countering over to Irwin. So just a bloodbath across the map as the fight just spread out on us.
I mean, that for me was a small communication issue, not quite synergy there. If both Irwin and Slater had committed at the same time, that was a dead Baron and the fight was cleaned up from there. The problem is they didn't go in at the same time, so therefore Irwin wasn't able to land a big Thunder Strike. And the Xenotech's probably going to pay for his life, but they got a turret in return here, and Vanes will just wander out like nothing happened at all. Can Fox return with a turret of their own? They do have good turret pushing potential with Irwin on this duel.
I think they should apply pressure for sure here. Like, if you step up too close, you can just jump on a target. There's so much burst out right now. Irwin, Slater, they're onto the turret. Turret's down. There you go. There's knockback. Rocket Leap in. Verse is going to come out, and Iraqi Zoro's down. Irwin making the plays, finding the kill there. Weapon Jewel coming through. 5-5 in game 2. 10 minutes in here. Echo Fox, really, they're alive.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They're looking like they're fighting in this second game of the series. And I think that was a poor defensive option or even choice to defend from Gankstars there. You know, you were going up against the Jewel who will rip through your turrets in a matter of seconds. I think that was the wrong decision to even try and defend that turret. You know, you picked up one. Unfortunately, Xenotech went down, meant you couldn't defend your own. I think there was a tough decision to have to stay around and try and defend that with Baron. Hoping for the wave clear at this point in the game with the Tension Bow and Sorrow Blade, not good enough. And again, that was the kind of synergy that I was looking for between Slater and Irwin. To jump in at the same time, to capitalize on getting that afterburn off, and then just slamming down the damage onto the Baron.
Ooh. Irwin's gonna look to slam some damage down onto the Baron here as he's got his weapon infusion level 9. He's also got the Tyrant's Monocle and an overdriven Thunder Strike. So this guy is ready to crit his face off. Iraqi Zoro, while he has his own damage output, it really pales in comparison if this Jewel is on target.
And again, we're now seeing Gankstars forced into that box that we thought that they would be. Xenotech wasn't able to get a big enough lead in the early game jungle, and now Iraqi Zoro is having to wait to get to a late game Baron stage. That's all we need to see from Gankstars to give themselves an opportunity to win. They cannot fight in team fights at this point in time. You know, Slater and Irwin will be able to just completely two-shot Iraqi Zoro, so this is good from... Oh, wait a second.
Vanes is in there. He gets the Holy Nova to start this one off, but they jump right into Iraqi. Iraqi jump jets right over the top, finding a lot of area of effect damage, and they take Jewel down. That was not the positioning that Echo Fox were looking for, and Super Shot is going to be chased down. Double kill for Xenotech, and Slater is forced to just waddle his way out of here. And he should see Xenotech moving over as they do have a scout trap down. Xenotech's going to play some games, gets knocked back into the Crystal Sentry as Slater wants to go toe for toe, gives him the Twisted Stroke, but there just isn't enough to take that Koshka down.
His build from Slater is going to fall off very quickly, by the way. It is meant to get some massive advantages in the early game and run with it. When you get towards the late game, these on-hit builds don't quite become as effective, and the damage output starts to dwindle. You saw there in that fight, Xenotech, for me, MVP. I know Vane's got some good knocks up, but Xenotech actually, I think, got a ult onto Irwin mid-flight, stopped him from actually being able to capitalize on Slater jumping in with the afterburn. And yeah, I think that was just absolutely fantastic.
Now, the reason I mean, the Jewel is good into the Baron, but I think they got to be careful not to get too tunnel visioned onto just Baron and Baron only when you have Xenotech and Vanes like actually on the front line locking your allies down. They do have enough damage to take through, like right here. You see Vanes taking so much damage on the front side. You got to be careful. Well, this is going to be Xenotech coming up. The Verse is going to come out. Echo Fox standing their ground. Gotta be careful, buds. There's your fountain as the Rocket League comes forward. You're going to see, oh no, the missed Thunderstrike. He's onto Rakizoro. Irwin trading with the Baron. The Joel gets the better. Actually, Adagio credited with the kill. Vayne's on the run. Xenotech out towards the east side. Big red button! Just put some tape over that so you can't press that button, my friend, because there is no need to do so. Look at this. Super Shot finds the kill on Xeno in the jungle, and Echo Fox come out on top of this fight. They just completely turn it around.
I mean, that was just insane. The amount of burst damage they put down onto Vaynes was absolutely ridiculous there. I actually think the most important part of that was that the fact that they grouped up and waited for the right opportunity to get onto Iraqi Zoro. And again, Iraqi Zoro not putting out enough damage right now to be sort of that big burst carry that we expected to see from him. We've got to get him to that late game before he becomes effective. But again, Gankstars are holding on here. The gold is very equal. We are starting to get towards that late game where they will start to come online. And again, once Iraqi Zoro, now overdriven his B, has got that innate reflex block bundled in there. So it's starting to get there for Gankstars.
Everybody has weapon infusion. Iraqi's got that minion's foot. OP. I don't see how Echo Fox can win a fight now. Just teasing. It's the minion foot. It's OP. I like it. It's a good pickup coming in this fight. You make sure you're going to crit on your first attack. Gold Miner is going to go the way of Echo Fox. A nice pickup for them right now. They're going to go ahead and just wait to get that positioning that they need on the map here.
Again, I think it's important for Echo Fox to continually pressure global objectives like Gold Miner. It's simply because, you force then Gankstars to react to it. If you get these Gold Miners, either Gankstars give it to you for free, in which you just get a net global gold advantage, or you force them to react. Vayne's a little bit overextended here.
Iraqi with the jump jets out to the backside. Irwin's looking for a target. Verse is going to come out. Now it's Irwin and Iraqi trading right here. It's going to be Irwin dropping low. He's not going to get the position one. No, not the big red button again. Don't do that when you do it. Slata will find the kill. They traded 1 for 1. Slata's just standing his ground, trying to get that crit damage out, but it's not enough. Xenotech will take that kill. That puts Gankstars up 9-8 as they look to chase down Super Shot. My name is Vaynes. Hello, this is my benediction. Xenotech chase him down. And they got a couple seconds here where they should be able to go ahead and clear this out, get the ace for themselves. And perfect timing. Kraken's out on the map as well. So Gankstars with a very, very good team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Iraqi Zoro is now at 3.5 items, but you actually saw the burst damage onto Irwin there was very good. More importantly, I like to see the way that Xenotech has essentially reconfigured the way that he's playing Koshku into a purely peel-orientated pick here. He's using the Afterburn, he's using the Yummy Catnip Frenzy to specifically peel Glaive, peel Irwin away from Iraqi Zoro. Iraqi Zoro also blocked a very big ability. I think he blocked the Afterburn as he used the jump jets there. And now Gankstars starting to come back into the driving seat after what was a very, very good performance from Echo Fox. But I just feel that they didn't force the issue hard enough in the early game.
Yeah, like legit. I think maybe some of what you're saying is right, but using these big red buttons in the middle of the fight, just stop doing it. I mean, there's like 1 in 1,000 where that's the play to make, but even, we've seen Waldemar, one of the big Jewel players, like even when it starts falling apart is when he decides like, oh, I'm just going to throw a big red button in the middle of the fight. We'll see though, Irwin, can he hang tough through this? Does have his level 12 weapon infusion. Kraken will go ahead and take out the next turret. Moving on to that choke point turret. This is so important for Echo Fox to keep himself in fighting shape here. If they have to defend this turret, Gankstars gonna wait for that ion cannon to come down, just slowly chipping away. Turret dropping low. Xenotech's gonna jump in to go ahead and clean this out. And they're not gonna even play games. They're just like out of here. Probably take the Crystal Sentry and move out, get some vision down on the map.
You still have to respect the fact that, Iraqi Zoro has now got no defense apart from reflex block. He is still completely susceptible to the potential burst damage from Irwin. But let's take stock here, Humanist. You've got 2.5 items on Irwin. He's got a Sorrow Blade on one Tyrant's Monaco and a Lucky Strike. This is not the kind of duel that is going to two-shot you just yet. He's had to really invest into some defensive options here. Slater on 2 on-hit items that don't scale up very well. Big fight coming out, though.
Yeah, big fight coming out. A lot of damage. Can they get forward? There's your Rocket League. The Thunder Strikes Irwin. He's on to Iraqi. Big crit damage coming out. Irwin will be able to trade. Slater gets the kill. Slater will fall, though. And Super Shot is not the last hero that you'd like to have standing. Gankstars, don't play with your food. There you go. They'll take him down 13-9. Pretty phenomenal performance.
And again, it's now at the point in the game where these on-hit damage builds, the lack of damage from Irwin has fallen off Humanist. We've got to the point where they aren't doing enough damage to be able to just delete the Baron. The amount of time that they are spending to kill Baron is allowing Iraqi Zoro to build up broken myth stacks. It's allowing, Xenotech. It's allowing Xenotech to build up those broken myth stacks, and he's the one that is now just controlling the fights, doing the necessary consistent sustained damage to just win outright. You were ignoring a Koshka with a Aftershock and a broken myth. You know, that can hurt as these fights progress, and it's because they are spending so many resources to try and burst a Baron who, to be honest, is now past the point of being burstable. This Baron is too late for him. You've got two early game focus builds on your carries. Irwin has now picked up the Tornado trigger, Poison Shiv there for Slader. There might be opportunities if they catch Iraqi Zoro out in these fights where they can get him down quick enough, but it all remains to be seen.
All right, well, this is the tense moments as Echo Fox know that they cannot stand to lose a fight here. I disagree with you. I think Iraqi is burstable. They have to play the game where they jump. If he jumps back, they have to reposition. It's just a game of give and take right now. Veins on the front side, looking for that benediction target. Xenotech jumps in with a pouncy fun. Twirly Death is there. Look at Slade. He's going to go ahead and knock Iraqi Zoro back with the jump jets. Reposition, Rocket Leap. Thunderstrike misses from Irwin. One basics there. Ion Cannon will be coming down. Xenotech finds the kill with the help of Iraqi Zoro. They'll take down Irwin, and this is going to be all she wrote for Echo Fox. Ladies and gentlemen, Slade is taken down. So will Super Shot. Oh, no, Slade goes down a second later. I'm an idiot. Ace comes through 16-9. Gankstars just stomping on Echo Fox.
Yeah, it's level 2 ultimate from Veins. His C ability's got 2 points in it. You've got Iraqi Zoro with the reflex block there. You know, he's got a lot of damage in his own kit now. I get it. It was just past the point of being achievable, I think, for Echo Fox. Again, I agree with you. I think there was potential to burst Iraqi Zoro a little bit earlier in the game, though, especially if Grace got to the point where she got level 3 ultimate. It was pretty much sewn up and done from that point onwards. The Holy Shield's also providing so much protection for Iraqi Zoro in this game. And I mean, this has been some quick games from two very dominant series, Gankstars and C9, finishing in style.
Yeah, we've seen some serious power play coming out of these top North American teams. I think for good reason, you know. They're out here to really just prove their worth all the time. And they are right now, just a step above these other teams. Echo Fox obviously showing that they had capabilities to potentially take some fights and maybe the win if they strung a bunch of things together. But yeah, Gangstar's looking really clean. Any closing comments you want to say on this series?
I think the first game was completely outdrafted. I definitely like the way that Echo Fox approached the second game. I definitely think their draft was better. The idea was good, but they weren't decisive enough in the early game. They built a composition that was designed to just snowball out of control. They had some really promising fights, but after that, no. I mean, they lost it.
Yeah, tough situation. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed that game. With that, we're going to go ahead and throw it back over to our analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. And what a game that was. Gankstars taking it in the end, taking the series 2-0, but it wasn't as one-sided as the first game of the series. At least Echo Fox had something to say for themselves and stepped up to the plate, and the duel definitely wasn't as bad as we'd expected.
Yeah, this was what we wanted to see from Echo Fox. Like I said, I wasn't expecting them